Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Taya Carter. Today we're going to be running through a 20-minute express shoulder focused and oblique class or side waist. All you'll need today is a set of dumbbells. So I've gone for a pair of 2-kilo weights. Just going for a lighter dumbbell today, just because we're working those deep shoulder cuffs and yeah. All right, let's get started with our warm-up. We'll meet in a full plank. So up on those hands, tuck those tippy toes, pressing up and away between your shoulder blades. Think about protracting your shoulder blades, so pressing away from your mat. We're working through a plank to downward dog. On your exhale, press up and hinge those shoulders back. Lift those hips, trying to create a bit of a pyramid shape. So it might feel like a bit of a stretch through the backs of those hammies, and then inhale, hinge your shoulders back over the line of your wrists. Good. Exhale, press back, find that downward dog. You can lift up on those tippy toes. Don't need to drop those heels all the way back unless you wanted to, if you're feeling a little bit more flexible than I am. And we just want to hold that plank for 1 second each time. You're welcome to stay working like this, or getting a little bit more, starting to add 1 push-up each time you're in that full plank. If I do look a little bit strange today, it's because I have actually, in fact, just jarred my finger, my little pinky finger. So I'm secretly crying a little bit inside, but I'll try my best to keep pushing. Let's start to add a little bit of a pedal through those feet each time you're in that downward dog. Just getting a light stretch through the backs of your legs. We're going to be here for 10 more seconds. Should be feeling nice and warm through that upper body. Good. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Whew. All right, we're coming into our first shoulder exercise. So just grab onto one of your dumbbells, have that close by. Just being in a low kneel. We're going to shuffle our bottom off to the left side. Your left palm is going to lay flat beside you. And then you're going to step up onto your right foot. So your right foot is angled to the end of your mat. So on your left shin and glute, right foot is angled towards the end of the mat. I'm going to pick up that single dumbbell and create a bit of a squared, there's a bug on me, a bit of a squared shape with that top arm. So your palm is face forwards, resting that elbow just lightly in your knee. You may need to adjust that foot or that supportive arm. Good. From here, we're starting off with some shoulder cuff rotations. So I'm going to try and maintain that same 90-degree angle at that elbow. We're going to inhale, hinge from the shoulder to lower that weight just below the line of that knee. Exhale, hinge from your shoulder, lift back upright. So the aim is to keep your elbow steady where your knee is, but try not to send too much weight into that knee. So you're not resting that arm into that knee. We're keeping that elbow nice and light. We're just using that knee as a bit of feedback to know that our elbow is in the same place the whole time. Good, you will find that this exercise is pretty humbling. You will feel that weight pretty quickly. So although it is a small dumbbell, should be feeling quite heavy by now. We're going to start to add an overhead press after that lift in 5 seconds. Lift that arm in 4, 3, 2, and 1 lift. From here, I'm going to exhale, overhead press. Stack that weight directly over your shoulder. Step the elbow back down lightly into the knee, then hinge that arm back forwards. Try to keep it slow. So exhale, press. Slow on that way down, resisting against the force of that heavy dumbbell. All right, if you'd like to take it further, we're going to start to add in a rise up onto that left shin each time you work into that overhead press. Good, so we lift up. Next time you press up and out of your left arm as well. Rise up onto your left shin, squeeze that glute to press those hips forwards. The dumbbell meets on top of your shoulder line. Bend that elbow back into your knee as you lower back down. Good, so same movement, we're just adding in a rise on the overhead press, sitting back to bend the elbow in. That's it. We are going to keep layering up, just making sure that you're sticking with whatever layers do suit you. So if you want to push yourself further, we're going to start to add a leg extension at that top position with that right leg. Think about that elbow meeting back down with your knee as light as a feather. Try not to let it just drop. Adding in a toe tap to get into that glute if you'd like. And think about pulling up and out of your left waist. Just going to get into that oblique just a little bit. Really pressing up all the way, weight heavy over that left shin. That's it. Let's keep it going. We're almost there in 5, working through just that overhead press and rise if you are taking that option. In 3, 2, and 1, just that overhead press, adding in that leg extension too if you can. Exhale, press. Inhale to lower. Good, feeling it in that top glute as well for me. Left shoulder should be burning out too. We've got a static hold to finish, coming up in 10 seconds. Whew. Let's lift and hold in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold, last 5, maybe pulse the leg, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Take a big shoulder roll. Coming into our oblique work now, so dumbbell can just go out of the way. Let's just lay flat on our backs, feet can be about hip distance apart. We're coming into some oblique and core work. So, interlacing your fingers behind your head, thumbs are down your neck, just like we're relaxing at the beach, and then legs float to tabletop. So knees are over the line of your hips, shins are level like a tabletop. We're starting off with our single leg toe taps. So keeping one leg frozen, you're gonna hinge from your hip to lower the other foot to tap the floor, alternating sides. I am gonna start to offer progressions pretty quickly, but this is our base layer. Thinking about drawing in through your lower abdominals. If that feels all right, we're working through this holding a crunch. Good, so holding a crunch the whole time. Keep that chest lifted. That's it. Keeping those shoulder blades as far off of that mat as you can. That's it, and just making sure that you're using those hands to hold the weight of your head and that neck. That's it. If you're feeling all right, we're gonna start to add in an oblique curl. So as one leg drops, you're gonna simultaneously twist your elbow to the opposite knee, back to center, to step the leg to tabletop. Good, so rotating elbow to the opposite tabletop knee. Just for your information, it actually is currently about 30 degrees outside today, and I'm just by the door. There is no air conditioning, so if I look like I'm turning completely red, that explains why. Good, starting to add an arm extension to advance. Beautiful work. Now your full advancement is to work through our full scissors. So I'm going to talk you through that if you would like to take that option. Meeting in center, legs are going to extend long to the ceiling. Instead of a single leg toe tap, you've got a single leg lower. So one leg lowers, crunch over to the opposite side, leg back to the ceiling. We've got 10 more seconds like this, and then we're holding our crunch, just our full or tabletop leg scissors to finish. Good. So hold that crunch in center in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Crunch to center. From here, just your scissors, either legs fully extended or in their tabletop. We're here for 10, 9, 8, maybe reach those arms, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give those knees a little hug, maybe rock from side to side. Let's just take a quick windscreen wiper stretch, laying flat on that mat. Arms open out wide like a capital letter T. Float one leg to tabletop. You can drop that knee over to the opposite side of your body. Just turn that eye line to look away from that tabletop leg. Other side when you're ready. Leg to tabletop. Drop it across the opposite side, looking away from that knee. Alrighty guys, let's come up for our shoulder exercise on the other side. So just kneeling facing towards me. Let's pick up that single dumbbell, have it close by. Oops. Alright, this time you're gonna shuffle out to the right side, laying down onto your right palm, stepping the left foot up so that it's angled towards the end of your mat. Pick up that dumbbell in your left hand. You may have to shuffle in just to get that elbow to lightly rest into your knee, so just lightly. And then we're working through our shoulder cuff rotations. Inhale, hinge from your shoulder, lower that weight as far forwards as you can. Should feel a little bit of a stretch through that shoulder. Exhale as we hinge to lift back up. So especially on the way down, that's when we want to avoid letting that elbow rest too heavy into your knee, because then you're not going to get as much out of this exercise. In 5 seconds, we'll start to add in our overhead press. In 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, press that arm along to the ceiling, thinking about trying to create a goal post. Good. So, meaning that that weight stacks all the way up over the shoulder line. Thinking your bicep coming in towards that ear. So full extension of that left arm. All right, let's start to add in that rise into your high kneel. So next time you press that arm long, pressing up and out of your right arm to rise up onto your right shin. Sit those hips back, lower down onto your glute. Hinge that arm forwards. So just like on the last side, make sure that each time you come up into that rise, if you are taking that option, that you're squeezing through your glute and engaging through your core. So squeezing through your glute is going to allow you to lift all the way up to your full rise. We don't want any bend at those hips. We're trying to create a seamless line across the front of that thigh up past your hip. That's it. Now your next progression is to add in that leg extension at the top. Each time I come up into that rise, I just lift up onto my tippy toes. I find that allows a little bit more range for me, but whatever feels nice for you. Now I am getting a little bit sloppy now, but unlike me, try to keep that lower down as slow as you can. I'm gonna take my own advice. Adding in that toe tap if you haven't already at the top of that leg extension, getting into that outer glute. Two kilos has never felt heavier. Good. In 5, we're going to work through just that overhead press and rise. In 3, 2, and 1. Just that overhead press now. Vacuuming up and out of that right oblique. Really press up and out of that right arm. Try not to lose that neck in your shoulder. Keep that lift. We're gonna work through a static hold at the top to finish, whether that's in your high kneel or your low kneel, whether you've got that leg extended long. In 8, in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, hold. Pulse that leg if it's long. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Catching my breath. Alrighty, lucky last exercise. We've got some oblique and upper body for this last one. So, starting off, both dumbbells we'll need in a 4-point kneel. So we're on our hands and knees. If at any point it is becoming a little bit too intense with the dumbbells, similar movement just without them. Otherwise, just starting off in a 4-point kneel. So knees directly under your hips, hands directly under your shoulders, working through a little cat and cow stretch. So arch that back, lift your head and neck to the ceiling, and then round your spine like an angry cat. Press away from your mat. Just working between as much flexion and extension as you can through that spine. You can make those movements a little bit smaller, and then we'll slowly come to a position between our flexion and extension to find our neutral spine. Meet there in 3, 2, and 1. Find your neutral spine, holding those weights in each hand. From here, tuck those toes under. We've got knee hovers. So, keeping everything frozen except for those legs, you're gonna press up with those tippy toes to lift your knees an inch or 2 off that mat. Control as you lightly tap back down. Exhale, hover those knees. Inhale lightly, tap back down. If at any point it is uncomfortable for your knees, you can always get a little bit of cushioning, so maybe a mat folded up and just placing those under your knees, whatever you feel you need. You can always feel free to incorporate. So this movement is coming from that core. So thinking about vacuuming in your belly button to lift, try not to let the legs do all the work. So thinking about your knees, lowering as light as a feather. If you need to take a little bit of rest after each hover, that's fine, as long as that lower is as controlled as you can make it. We're gonna start to add in that oblique and upper body challenge, starting to add in a renegade row each time we lower those knees. So next time you lower, drive that elbow up, squeeze behind your shoulder blade, step the hand down, and hover. Step back down, opposite arm. Now this is your first progression. If you would like the more advanced option, we work that renegade row each time you're in that knee hover. It's going to be a lot more challenging using those stabilizing muscles to try and keep your hips and your shoulders as steady as possible. So in your row, thinking about that elbow gliding up past your rib, squeezing behind that shoulder blade. If it's too much with those dumbbells, you can work through a shoulder tap instead, but try to stay with me. We've got 10 more seconds like this. And then we're going to hold our knee hover, working through either just your rows or your shoulder taps. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold just your rows, side to side. If that's too much, shoulder taps. Last 10 seconds. This is our last little bit of work. Stay strong. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. I almost fell there. Let's take a bit of a child's pose. Palms can lay faced up. Let that head rest into your mat. Let's work through a little bit of a shoulder stretch. So the arms Just gonna reach forwards in front of you. Thread one arm underneath. Pressing down into that arm. Other side when you're ready. And you guys are all done. Really good work. I hope you are as sweaty and as tomato red as I am. If you guys enjoyed this, please remember to subscribe if you would like to see more of my content. Give this video a like. And if you guys have any requests for future videos, any glutes focused or core focused, whatever you're after, give me a recommendation and that can be my next video, and see you next time.